A 17-year-old with almost zero senior experience just walked into a Super Cup final and took over.
He has the potential to be an unbelievable striker.
Brian Madjo wasn't supposed to be the story. Aston Villa were facing the back-to-back Champions League winners, PSG, with Marquinhos and Willian Pacho standing in his way. Yet for long stretches, the 17-year-old looked like the most dangerous player on the pitch.
Madjo looks like a real promising player at 17. He's got something about him.
He didn't just survive against elite defenders, he bullied them.
I mean, he absolutely ragdolled Pacho, didn't he?
Yeah.
Ragdolled him.
He kept demanding the ball, attacking space, winning aerial battles, and refusing to disappear, even after missing early chances. Then came the moment that changed everything.
He certainly took his chance and eventually got his goal.
Madjo scored a historic equaliser with a finish that made the entire football world stop and ask the same question. Who is this kid?
This kid, mate, he's not 17 years old, mate.
In this video, we're breaking down exactly how Brian Madjo dominated one of Europe's best defences, the details behind that goal, and why his performance could be the first warning of a very big future. Because Aston Villa may have lost the Super Cup, but Brian Madjo may have won the night. Villa walked into this final missing Emiliano Martinez, Ezri Konsa, Ollie Watkins, Amadou Onana, Yuri Tielemans and Morgan Rogers. 6 players gone, some through injury, some through transfers, one straight to the World Cup break. PSG, meanwhile, showed up close to full strength, missing basically nobody who mattered. On paper, this wasn't a final. It was a mismatch between the reigning back-to-back Champions League winners and a Villa squad patched together with kids and a squad player just trying to survive the night.
It felt like for Aston Villa it was a competitive match, whereas for PSG it's like, well, I guess we sort of have to be here, so if we're going to be here, then we might as well win this.
And for the first 15 to 20 minutes, that's exactly how it looked. PSG had the ball, PSG had the calm, and PSG played like a team that already knew how this was going to end. They weren't sprinting into tackles or forcing things. They were just comfortable, moving the ball side to side, waiting for Villa to make a mistake. Then there's Madjo, 17 years old, 6'4", thrown straight into a European final against Marquinhos and Pacho, 2 centre-backs with a combined amount of big game experience that dwarfs his entire career. And early on, it looked rough. A header sailed wide when it should have tested the keeper. A volley came off scuffed, no real conviction behind it. A tight chance near the post got miscued when a cleaner touch might have buried it. For most 17-year-olds, that's the kind of start that kills confidence for the rest of the game. You miss 2 or 3 like that, you start hesitating, you start playing it safe. Madjo didn't. His movement never dropped off. He kept making the same aggressive runs, kept throwing his body into aerial duels, kept dismantling the ball, even after missing chances that would have had other teenagers hiding. And little by little, Marquinhos and Pacho started to feel him. Not just his presence in the box, but the physical weight he was bringing into every challenge. The misses were piling up, but something else was building underneath them, and it was about to turn into the moment that decided the first half.
At 17 years of age, you miss a couple of chances early on in a Super League, a Super Cup. You think, oh, I'll go in my shell. He kept going and he hustled and bustled.
So, what made this one different? He already missed 3 or 4 chances that most strikers convert in their sleep, so why would this one go in when the others didn't? The answer's in the movement, not the shot.
He scored it just as we was talking shit, and that's a hell of a goal too. Wow.
Right on the stroke of half-time, Madjo reads a lofted ball into the box and peels off his marker with a sharp burst. The kind of separation you don't teach. You either have it or you don't.
Willian Pacho, for that goal, I've never seen Willian Pacho get manhandled like that.
The ball drops. He meets it clean with his left foot, and it rips into the top corner before the keeper even finishes his dive.
Lines it up, works across in there, looking for Madjo again this time, and it's gone in! It's been coming!
As you said, he put himself in some really good positions, scored a really hard goal.
45th minute, game level at 1-1. And here's the number that matters. That goal makes him the youngest player to score in a Super Cup final since as Patrick Kluivert did it for Ajax back in 1996. Almost 30 years between the two names on that list. Villa earned that goal. Look at the balance of the first half. The chances McGinn created driving through the midfield. The space Hemming kept finding in behind. The pressure Villa kept applying even when missing 6 regular starters.
We've talked about this Aston Villa team. This performance was so good as a whole. They had 15 shots. That is a fantastic effort against the PSG who suffocated teams last year.
PSG had the ball more, but Villa had the better looks at goal, and Madjo's strike just made the scoreboard finally match the run of play. What happens next is where this stops being about one moment and becomes about 90 minutes of physical punishment. Marquinhos and Pacho aren't average centre-backs. Between them, they've got Champions League trophies and enough senior caps to fill a small trophy cabinet. And a 17-year-old spent the night winning header after header against both of them, holding the ball up with his back to goal under real pressure, and never once getting bullied off it himself.
He was bullying top centre halves yesterday in PSG. I mean, he was brilliant. He could have had a hat-trick.
Most teenagers his size need years in senior football before their body can handle that kind of contact without getting knocked off the ball or losing the physical battle. Madjo looked like he'd already had that training, like the timing and the strength were already there, not something still being built. PSG had an answer, though, because that's what champions do. Doue came alive on the left, and it wasn't long before he restored PSG's lead and tilted the game back in their favour.
2-1 to PSG. Lovely finish with his left foot. Desir Doue, 2-1. PSG.
That's the version of PSG everyone's seen before. The one that changes gear whenever it wants and just has more in the tank than whoever's across from them. But even down 2-1, even after PSG regained control, Madjo didn't disappear. He stayed the focal point of every Villa attack, still winning the ball in the air, still holding it up, still forcing PSG to send extra bodies over just to deal with him one-on-one. That's not something you ask a 17-year-old to do. That's something he just did. So, what happens to a player who does all that with almost no senior minutes behind him? The scoreline says PSG won 2-1, added another Super Cup to the cabinet, and kept their run going as the team nobody in Europe really wants to draw right now. That part isn't in question, but the result tells you less than the performance does. Emery's Villa side was rotated, undercooked, missing half their strongest 11, and they still matched the best team in the world for stretches of that game. The scoreline is the least interesting part of that night. What Madjo did physically brings back memories of Romelu Lukaku's stretch in the 2020-2021 season at Inter Milan. That kind of size and menace that makes defenders uncomfortable just standing near him, the same habit of pinning 2 players just by holding his ground in the box. It's early to make that comparison stick, but the raw materials line up.
10 minutes into the game, they were comparing him to Lukaku, which is obviously inevitable.
There's still work to do. The finishing needs sharpening. The decision-making in tight spaces needs time. And any coach watching that tape saw at least 3 chances that better strikers put away.
It's just managing him as a young player. Is that, can we take him forward? Can we get him ready? Can we get him equipped and ready for the big stage? Which
that part comes with reps, with games, with learning the difference between a half chance and a real one. What's already there doesn't need fixing.
One thing I'll say, good positioning. I mean, he's learning, but from what I saw, his little stint.
The size is already Premier League ready. The mobility for someone his height is rare, and the mentality, missing 4 chances in a row and still attacking the 5th ball with the same hunger, isn't something you can coach into a player. Either it's there or it isn't. This is a name Premier League defenders are about to hear a lot more. Madjo didn't just show up and survive the Super Cup final. He took control of moments in it, against defenders who've won trophies before he even started high school. That's the answer to the question this whole video started with. How does a 17-year-old with basically 0 senior football do this against a team like PSG? He doesn't play like he has 0 experience. He plays like he's been doing this for a decade, and nobody told Marquinhos or Pacho they were about to spend a night getting shoved around by a teenager. Villa Park has a name now, and it's not staying quiet for long. Scouts across Europe already have it written down. Marquinhos and Pacho, two of the best centre-backs on the planet, out-muscled by a kid who wasn't even supposed to be the story tonight.